All right, we should be good. Let me see how we looking up in here. We should be ready to go. Shout out to the gang in here. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And I gotta welcome y'all back, man. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream, and welcome to another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description, as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. And no wonder this was turned up a little loud. My bad, guys. Shout out to everybody who's in here. We've got an amazing day for y'all. We've got several segments we're going to talk about with some breaking news. We've got news about Fani Willis. I'm going to love that topic, so y'all wait for that one. We've also got some breaking news about the gentleman who was initially arrested in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We've got a lot of Charlie Kirk news today, and it's we're about to go down some rabbit holes, so y'all better get ready for this one. Stay tuned. Shout out to everybody who's in here, though. First, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. We got my awesome, amazing Amy is in here. Shout out to Amy. Les Cleaver's in the building. Big Dog is in here. J Money back at it. We got Taco Tuesday. It is your day. Happy Taco Tuesday out here. We got Jay Buckmaster's in here. Mary's back at it. Virginia Wiley, CPE, Trisha. It's good to see y'all, man. Shout out to everybody who's up in here. I'll be saying good morning and what's up to y'all as we go throughout the show. Now, I'm going to start the show by begging. I know. I'm gonna start the show by begging y'all to please make sure you like the video. I don't ask for much on the show, but the one thing I do ask is that you like the video on your way in. Not only is it free, it helps the channel continue to grow, lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, this live stream that we're on right now, the entire channel with more people. So many of you do that on a consistent basis, and we've already got nearly 1,500 of you that have liked the video so far. So thank y'all for doing that. I appreciate it. Helps out a lot. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can excuse me, you can share out the video as well by clicking the button. It says share right there for you, or it's an arrow that's curved and pointing to the right. If you click that button and you share it, it also lets people know where you're going to be hanging out this morning. It brings more people to the channel, and you can share it on Facebook, on Instagram, on X. You can even share it via text to your group chat. So again, a lot of you guys do that. Thank you so much for that. And I'll also be giving a special thank you to everyone who sends in the super chat. We've already got my guy Les Cleaver kicking off the day with some super chats. He dropped the 10 bomb. And what does he say? He says, welcome one and all to your safe place to voice your opinion. God bless you for being here. We welcome you. Just keep it respectful is all that's asked. You're all amazing, and God loves you as you are. Amen to that, Les Cleaver. Amen. Absolutely. And welcome to everyone who's new to the channel. I know there's going to be a lot of y'all joining the show for the first time. Again, we value opinions here. We value differing opinions here. You won't be ashamed for it. I get a little sarcastic, and I may have some fun if we have differing views, but overall we do respect differing opinions. So all I ask, as Les said, is that you be respectful when you come here. All right. Don't have to call names. Don't have to cuss people out. Let's just have a conversation. All right. It's easy to do. This is a safe place for it, just like Les said. So thank you for the reminder. And then he's in there again. Shout out to Les Cleaver with the 10 bomb. Says, let us lift up our hearts in praise and thank God for yet another great day. Amen. May you be blessed in all that you do. Happy Taco Tuesday. Love one another as God loves you. Amen. Best YouTube channel ever. It's because y'all are here. Shout out and thank you to Les Cleaver, my guy. All right. Appreciate you, man. And again, thank you to everyone who's in here, who's liked and shared the video. We've got a lot to cover this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it, not waste any more time. Again, please make sure y'all like the video. I'm going to keep begging, even when we're at 100% likes, because I know there's a lot of people who join the show late, or they come in and they exit, they forget to like the video. So please make sure you all like the video. All right. Amy's got it up there on the screen for you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Excuse me. Now, initially, I didn't think I was going to be able to do a full segment on this, but it seems like more information is coming out when it comes to Charlie Kirk and the assassination. Unfortunately, as we know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated over this past week, and there's been so much conversation that's happening when it comes to Charlie Kirk. What happened at the crime scene? what happened politically, who may be involved, and we're going to get into some of that later on and in the next video. But specifically, we're going to rewind and go all the way back to when Charlie Kirk was first assassinated. And as many of you saw, and we reported here, there was a gentleman, he's about 70 years old, that was detained by police at the time. Right? They detained him. He was apparently yelling some things we're going to get into shortly, and they thought he might have been the one that shot Charlie Kirk. Turned out later that wasn't the right man, and they let him go, allegedly. Right? Later on they found another person they thought was the suspect. Was it him? And then shortly after that, 33 hours later, they found the actual person they believe is the shooter. So what we'll do is I'm going to go back and remind you guys of what actually happened, going back to the time when Charlie Kirk was assassinated and when this man was arrested and what he actually said. Check this out. From Texas A&R says, here's the raw footage of Charlie Kirk getting shot and footage of the suspect shooter. All right, the suspected shooter is what I think he meant to put. Viewer discretion is advised. Check this out.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
This doesn't show too much. Not like the other ones, thankfully.
Go, run.
Now, this is the man you see here, Mr. Zen, and he was getting detained and arrested by the police. But wait, there's more. So we have this video here. It's another 8 seconds of the same thing. They're reading him his Miranda rights. And he's on the ground. He's mumbling something. You really can't hear or make out what he's saying. Well, let's get into it. Shout out to Amy for posting this over on X. If you guys don't follow Amy on X, please make sure you do that. We'll leave a link in the chat and in the comments as well, so you guys can go follow her, because she's been breaking a lot of news and it's been crazy. So what does she say in this post? It says, political activist told cops, I shot Charlie Kirk, and he confesses he wanted to help the real killer escape. Amy says, breaking news. New twist in the Charlie Kirk assassination case. Police say George Zinn, this gentleman right here, a 71-year-old Utah man who first shouted, I shot Charlie Kirk, while being arrested, has now admitted he was actually trying to help the real killer escape. Dang. That's wild, man. Zinn confessed that he created a distraction to pull law enforcement away from the real shooter, now identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, allegedly. The court records show Zinn, who has multiple prior arrests for trespassing, told the investigators he even wanted to be a martyr for the person who was shot. What? He has been charged with felony obstruction of justice, as y'all are saying in the chat, after police say his actions diverted critical resources during the manhunt. Zinn is being held without bail at the Utah County Jail after a judge's ruling. Wow. And we have more information here from the New York Post as well. Shout out to Amy for getting us that information. Isn't this sad, man? I mean, how much hate is out here, not only for Charlie Kirk to be assassinated, but for someone that quickly, their first thought is, oh, whoever did it, I'm so happy they did this. I've got to make sure and help them get away. Apparently, that's where we are. New York Post says an old man who falsely claimed he shot Charlie Kirk is known Gladfully, who told what? I don't know what that means. Who told cops he did it to draw attention from the real shooter. Here's what they're saying. The known political agitator who falsely confessed to shooting Charlie Kirk while in the audience at the Conservative Stars event told investigators he was trying to draw attention from the shooter, according to a report. Court records revealed that George Zinn, 71, known as Gladfully, Gladfully? I don't know. Who was led away from the Utah Valley University in handcuffs after the assassination last Wednesday, told the cops he was trying to distract them from the real assassin. And that's reported by Fox 13. Zinn approached the cops immediately after Kirk was killed and yelled, I shot him, now shoot me. What? The report citing police who noted that he was unarmed and taken into custody. During a police interview, Zinn admitted he did not kill Kirk, but said he wanted to cause a distraction to draw attention from the real shooter, according to court documents reviewed by Fox 13. The faux shooter made similarly strange and opaque comments after being transported to a local hospital due to a medical condition, saying he wanted to be a martyr for the person who was shot. Those court papers stated, according to the outlet. Police say his initial comments delayed the investigation into Kirk's killing and needlessly took up law enforcement resources at a critical juncture in the probe, obviously. He is charged with obstruction of justice, which is a second-degree felony. He's 71. He probably doesn't care. Videos from the chaotic aftermath of the assassination at the Utah Valley University showed Zinn with his pants around his ankles being dragged away by police as a crowd of college students looked on in horror as he wailed, "Shoot me." He said he shot him, but I don't know, one officer told the crowd, which was under the impression that Zinn was the shooter, and yelled and swore at him as he went by. His image spread. His image spread across the internet, while many believing in the immediate wake of the assassination that the elderly man with the cleft chin pulled the trigger on Kirk. Zinn is known locally as a political gadfly. I don't know what that means. Gadfly? I don't know what that is. Who frequently pops up at events and is nearly always tossed out, with numerous trespassing arrests at events like film festivals, protests, and political rallies. Almost every political event you can think of, there was always George somewhere in the background listening. Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill told the Salt Lake Tribune. He's a person who can be odd. Yeah, no kidding. And who has these kinds of sometimes odd behavior challenges, said Gill, who has prosecuted Zinn several times. But by and large, he's more of a gadfly than anything else. I don't know. What is a gadfly? In 2013, Zinn threatened to bomb the Salt Lake City Marathon. Why is this guy still on the streets? This reminds me of the dude, I'm not going to say his name, that stabbed Irina on the bus. You see someone exhibiting this type of behavior and inciting, I don't know if we can call it inciting violence, but wasting resources, screaming that he shot someone. Why is this person still on the street? Can we get them some help or put them somewhere to where they're not in the general public? Good Lord. It says in 2013, Zinn threatened to bomb the Salt Lake City Marathon and spent a year in the can for that incident, according to reports. It's not long enough. There is no indication that he knows the apparent suspect, Tyler Robinson, who was taken into custody last Thursday after his own father turned him in. Investigators are looking into possible extended network that possibly aided and abetted the college dropout who was living with his male to female gender partner. Wow. Yeah, this gadfly, I guess it was of a man. I hope they put him somewhere and just see if they can get him some help or just let him live the rest of his days away from society. Because if he's capable of doing this, if he's putting out bomb threats in his own city, I don't understand why this man would be in public. Anyway, that's some breaking news for you guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat. And do you think that George Zinn might actually be involved, or is this just who he is? I want to see what y'all think. And Amy's giving me the definition for gadfly since I couldn't even pronounce it. Shout out to Amy. She says, an annoying person, especially one who provokes others into action by criticism. Always a gadfly. He attacked intellectual orthodoxies. I don't know. That's annoying. That's really annoying. And shout out to everybody who's just stopping by too. There's over 1,000 of y'all in here. If you could, please like the video, guys. I beg for likes here unashamedly. So get used to it. Or just make sure you like the video. Yeah, please don't type all caps in the chat. What else are y'all saying? Cash Patel, inconsistency. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. Kash Patel's inconsistent details of an ongoing investigation serves as a defense attorney's case. Kash is a prosecutor's nightmare. Yeah, the way this is being handled by the FBI is strange. I will give you that for sure. And we're going to get into it. Gadfly, aka a cockroach. I've never heard that before. It must be an older term. Kash said the FBI walked all over the crime scene and caught the perp. Oh, man. Yeah, we're going to get into some of what's going on with the FBI. And Kash Patel is actually in a hearing right now. I was listening to it earlier. Kash Patel is before the Senate as we speak. I was going to tune into it, but they're getting into the whole Epstein situation. I'm not covering that. We ain't doing that here right now. So I got other things we have to talk about, and we're going to go ahead and get into it shortly. Thank you to everyone who's in the building, man. I see all of y'all up in here. We've got some more breaking news, which this one just warms my heart. It's always fun. Y'all know my favorite segments on this channel are when we get to talk about Fani Willis taking the L. And that's what we're going to talk about here, because as we have been reporting on this channel for, it seems like months and even, past a year now, Fani Willis is just one of the worst DAs I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I'm here in Fulton County. This is something we have to deal with because she was recently voted back in. But when it comes to someone being relieved of Fani Willis, I know Donald Trump is celebrating right now and keeping a close eye on this, because it's been officially reported that Fani Willis has been kicked off the Trump case. Yes, she's taken another L. Now, we reported back several months ago, Fani Willis, she was getting in trouble, and then it was decided that she wasn't going to be on the Trump case anymore. She just did too much. She was acting inappropriately with Nathan Wade, amongst other things, right? So now she was able to appeal that. She went before the Court of Appeals, and we're going to find out what happened there in a second. Y'all check this out.
Happening today, attorneys tell us the Georgia Supreme Court will meet to discuss whether to disqualify Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from a career-defining case.
This, of course, stems from her election interference indictment against President Donald Trump. Atlanta News First reporter Chelsea Beimfour live outside the Nathan Deal Justice Center in downtown Atlanta. Good morning, Chelsea.
Good morning, guys. The Georgia Court of Appeals initially removed Willis from this case last December, citing an appearance of impropriety. That decision came after Willis admitted to having an improper romantic affair with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. That announcement kicked off a storm of controversy and led to Wade's removal and Willis's disqualification. The appeals court said at the time, quote, "This is a rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings." Willis's office appealed that decision to the state Supreme Court, who will discuss this case today.
This isn't an issue that's going away in the Georgia legislature. Nope. Everyone in state government is concerned with these new issues involving prosecutorial independence.
Willis's case centers around Trump and his co-defendants and accusations that they tried to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. If she is allowed to return to this case, nothing can move forward until 2029 because a sitting president cannot be tried. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Chelsea Beimfour, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, Fani Willis is just continuing to get thrown under the bus here. And again, I have a feeling this isn't the last that we're going to hear about this, because y'all know how Donald Trump is. You've seen it. President Donald Trump, let me be respectful. And now that Fani Willis has taken this L, I'm sure it's going to be time for things to start moving forward when it comes to holding her accountable for how she's conducted herself, not only as a district attorney, but conducted herself during this entire trial. So let's see what the Supreme Court had to say here. Check this out.
We are following some breaking news just coming in this morning. The state Supreme Court has just issued its decision in the 2020 election interference case. They have just ruled that Fani Willis will remain disqualified from prosecuting the case. That disqualification stands. Let's get out to Ariana Manise live at the state Supreme Court this morning. So Ariana, this just coming in. What are we hearing? What are you learning this morning?
Well, yeah, that's right. Within the last 10 minutes, we just learned that the Georgia Court of Appeals has denied that they will hear DA Fani Willis's request to argue that she wants to stay on this case. They are denying that petition, meaning the lower court's ruling, the lower court of appeals ruling to disqualify from this case will remain in place, meaning her office can no longer move forward with prosecuting this case. Now, this all comes from the August 2023 indictment indicting President Trump and 18 other defendants who were accused of attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. Now, DA Fani Willis was first removed from this case in December, and that is after President Trump and other defendants, they wanted her removed from this case after a judge said her romantic relationship with the former special prosecutor Nathan Wade created an appearance of impropriety. Defense attorneys for Trump and other defendants pushed for her removal after that relationship came to light. Now, Willis, she appealed that decision in January. Once again, we just learned the Georgia Court of Appeals denying that petition to hear that appeal. And today's ruling means that her office will no longer move forward with this decision. Now, legal experts have also questioned whether this case will move forward, especially now that President Trump is in office. This case hits another legal roadblock, Jonathan.
All right.
This is hilarious. Shout out to the Supreme Court. They're savage. They wouldn't even hear Fani Willis's appeal. They looked at that piece of paper. They said, "Man,
Stop the cap.
If you don't get this BS out of here, Fani, we don't have time for this. Please go away. We're not hearing this appeal. Don't waste your time." I love it. It's amazing.
Our Ariana Miniz live there. A lot of information coming in. Our political team also seeking a reaction from Fani Willis. We'll be following this story all day for you. Ariana, thank you so much for the latest. We're also following.
Oh, and I can imagine that there is going to be a response from Fani Willis. Check this out. And this is the official document just released this morning. I know we're usually late on this, on everything, but this is breaking news. So check it out. Supreme Court of Georgia. The Honorable Supreme Court met pursuant to adjournment. The following order was passed. And now here's what we have. We've got all of these cases. And then it says the Supreme Court today denied the petition in these cases. All the justices concur except a few judges, which it doesn't matter. And Fani Willis is out of there. And it says, I'm pleased to announce that Fani Willis has now been permanently disqualified from prosecuting the indictment that she brought against President Trump, me, and many others. This is Jeff Clark saying this. The Georgia Supreme Court denied cert to Fani Willis, who was attempting to get that court to take her case so that she could try to get undisqualified. How does that work? After the Georgia Court of Appeals threw her off the case. The case now moves to the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. They will decide on a replacement for Fani Willis. Praise the Lord for progress in this case. It never should have been brought in the first place. We say that a lot here in Fulton County. YSL never should have been brought. This case that Fani Willis colluded allegedly with the White House on and the mayor of Atlanta allegedly should have never been brought in the first place. So now that it's going to, as they say, the Council of Georgia, I highly doubt that they're going to move forward with this case. I don't think someone else will be assigned to this, and we're going to move on. So now we get into the fun part. All right. Let's check this out. I was going to read this article, but I'd rather spend the rest of our time here roasting Fani Willis. So this is something Fani Willis had to say in the past. We're just going to do a little bit of a rewind and hear from Fani how she felt about how people behave professionally. Check this out.
Because they deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees.
She said that.
Did you or did you not, by May the 30th, 2023, have had sexual relations with Miss Willis, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes. You also said that he was a world traveler and had been on many of the continents.
I've been to 6.
Have you been on any of those continents with him? Besides this one?
Where's Belize? What continent is that? I'm not being funny. I don't know.
Let's say, with the exception of
Belize with him. I've been to the Bahamas with him. I've been with Aruba with him. Don't embarrass me. I'm not sure what continents those are on. Whatever continents those are. I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign. I kept some of the cash of that.
I'm asking if you have any proof that you paid him any of these
The
monies.
proof is what I just told you. You have no written proof. Is that correct? No, this bill came in. Did you ever pay him anything other than cash? I've only given him cash a few times in the course of what we're talking about. So if we would go to dinner,
let her finish her answers.
if we would go to dinner, I wouldn't give him cash because he paid for dinner or I paid for dinner. I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4. Okay. Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000. You never wrote him a check?
That's Ashley Merchant up there.
I don't have checks. Okay.
She said, ma'am, I don't have checks. Oh, it gets better. Check this out. This is Fani Willis talking about her reputation. I gotta run this back. It's just too good.
I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. Let's say it for the record. I'm not embarrassed by anything I've done. You know, I guess my greatest crime is...
This was last year.
I had a relationship with a man, but that's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. And I know that I have not done anything.
That's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. How delusional can you be? How? When she's called several other people out about this before, but I haven't done anything wrong.
I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. Let's say it for the record. I'm not embarrassed by anything I've done.
Crazy.
You know, I guess my greatest crime is I had a relationship with a man, but that's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. And I know that I have not done anything that's illegal.
Come on,
so I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. And when I tell you the outpouring of women, and I'll tell you this, especially African American women who will just say, we are so proud, you are such a good representative of us. But
just forget the men that voted for it.
African American women. I have had Caucasian women, Asian women, Indian women. I told Jeff one day, I didn't think I was the face of the feminist movement, but somehow I became it.
You're not, Fani.
I think that women feel like women are treated differently when they're professionals, and they're proud to see someone that is strong and trying to do the right job. Certainly flawed, like every human being is flawed. My father has a saying, only one perfect man walked the face of the earth, and they crucified him. I am not a perfect human being, but what I am is a hardworking human being and a human being that loves the community I serve and who understands that seat does not belong to me. It belongs to the people, and as long as I'm here, I'm going to try to do the job in a way that's honorable.
Yeah, well, you failed. Shout out to Fani Willis. She said she's Jesus. They're going to crucify her because she's not perfect. Yeah, can we get the nah, hey, goodbyes in here for Fani Willis? And then we've got the President of the United States. You know he's speaking about this. Now, this isn't a recent video, but I thought this one was funny. I had to go back and play it. Shout out to President Trump.
Look, I was indicted by Fani in Georgia. Fani. How did that work out?
They're booing Fani.
And her lover, Nathan Wade. And they hired him for almost $1 million because of his great experience. Of course, he didn't have any experience. He had experience in something else. You know that.
Yo, President Trump. Hey, always happy to see Fani taking L. Again, you know, I give so much grief to Fani Willis on this channel. And it's not because I don't appreciate the good things that she's done. It's not because I don't appreciate the good things that the DA's office have done. It is mainly because of the blatant disrespect, the blatant unprofessionalism, the blatant lack of accountability from the DA's office. And so many of the cases y'all have seen us cover here, whether that's Young Thug, whether this case with President Trump, whether it's so many of the other cases that we've seen, it needs to be called out. And hopefully she'll hold herself accountable one day. I highly doubt it if she's comparing herself to Jesus, the only perfect man that ever walked the earth. But yet again, here we are. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Fani, we're going to have to try again next time. We'll see what happens with this moving forward with the Georgia Council as well. Let me know what y'all think. Shout out to the gang in here. I see y'all, man. We have, oh my goodness, nearly 900 of you in the building and 1,500 of you have liked the video. Thank y'all, man. So many of y'all like the video even before the live stream starts, and that is absolutely amazing. That's a lot of love right there because it does help out a lot as well. I want to see what y'all are saying in the chat. Oh yeah, y'all are talking about the death of that poor young man in Mississippi. Yeah, that has not been ruled a homicide. So anything you're hearing that says different are just rumors and people trying to start stuff. 2 black men were lynched yesterday in Mississippi. This is beyond disgusting and should be talked about everywhere. I cannot believe this is happening now. So tell me again how great Charlie Kirk was. What did those 2 men have to do with Charlie Kirk? I don't get the correlation. But yeah, I did not hear about 2 black men. I heard about 1. So y'all must be talking about something else. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. So we'll have to look into it. And a 34-year-old as well. So someone that went to a student and someone else. I've been watching the story about Trey. Yeah, and Amy's talking about it. I've been watching the story about Trey, and we'll definitely report on it as more information comes out. I'm not gonna do there's so much misinformation out there about that right now. We're not gonna do that here. So I'd rather wait until it's all been confirmed before I move forward and say something is what it is. Because a lot of people are just saying stuff because unfortunately they have a narrative that they want to push. Let me see. What is Amy saying? She says the far left is angry because they're being judged by the content of their character rather than the skin. Oh, no. Don't say that. No, you can't say that, Amy. Dang. There's 2 men. Yeah, it's sad it's happening in Mississippi as well. Mississippi seems very corrupt and dark to me. Well, a lot of places in the country are. She's going to cry at some fair. I can't wait to see what Fani's response is going to be from that too. You know it's not going to be good at all. All right, let's go ahead and get into this next one. So you all know we have been covering what's been going on with this investigation into the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's been everywhere. And now we're finding out the police, they're trying to talk to this man who allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, and he's not cooperating. So they're doing a lot of investigation behind the scenes, and it looks like, and it appears that shortly after Tyler allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk, that he went onto Discord and sent some messages to his friends. Let's find out what's going on. Shout out to Benny Johnson. He says, Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson reportedly admitted that he was guilty in his Discord chat just 2 hours before he was turned in. And the message allegedly said, hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering though. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. Interesting.
All right, breaking right now, reports of a confession posted on Discord from Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin hours before, after the murder, but hours before his father turned him in to authorities in Utah. This is Washington Post reporting on this at this point. Justice correspondent David Spunt joining me now live from Washington. Hi, David. What can you tell us?
Hi, Martha. About 2 hours before he was turned into authorities, this according to the Washington Post. We are working to independently confirm this as well, but the Washington Post says that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect charged in Charlie Kirk's murder, confessed, and I want to read this according to the Washington Post, writing on Discord, that social media chat group that the FBI says he used, quote, hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. This coming from the Washington Post. Now, this comes as DOJ officials began late last week and over the weekend looking at the potential for at least one federal charge. No guarantee they'll get there. A department spokesperson declined comment, but a source familiar said investigators are not ruling anything out at this time, especially his online gaming presence, his chats, as we just mentioned. Who was he talking to?
Yeah, and there's actually someone made a good point about the federal charges versus the state charges yesterday. If it would be beneficial, especially considering that he could be facing the death penalty either way, for one side or the other to have this be a state trial, because as we researched and we reported on yesterday, Utah, when it comes to media being available in the courtrooms, is very lax. They actually assume that there's going to be media coverage or there's going to be media used inside the courtroom. So I haven't looked up the exact details, but it seems like you don't need a Rule 22 to come in and record what's going on in the courtroom. I'm sure there's some legal agreement that you have to make, but it seems a lot easier to have media in the state of Utah in court. So with that being said, what's going to happen moving forward? Is this going to be something that we're going to see at the state level because they're having trouble with the federal charges? And even though they're doing a lot of this, we already have all this information about messages that were sent. It seems like there wasn't a connection to anyone else and that Tyler may have acted alone, allegedly. Also, Amy has this and she's got more insight. Shout out to Amy. If you don't follow her on X, make sure you go do that at IAMYLEIGH on X. She said, this is breaking news. The FBI is now investigating at least 7 social media accounts that appear to have advanced knowledge of Charlie Kirk's assassination. The FBI is investigating social media accounts that appear to admit they knew about the assassination. Excuse me. It says the FBI is investigating social media accounts that appear to admit they knew about the assassination of Charlie Kirk before it happened. At least 7 different accounts are being targeted, according to 3 people familiar with the investigation who spoke with the Free Beacon. Federal agents are zeroing in on deleted social media posts from the accounts across platforms like X and TikTok. A lot of BS on TikTok. The posts appear to predict or celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination with specifics like the exact date, September 10th, or warnings about what's coming. Not to mention, there was also a book that was published. It was called, what was it called? The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, I believe. And it was published before Charlie Kirk was shot, which is insane. What? These posts were scrubbed in the days after the shooting. One X account tweeted on September 3rd, over a week before the assassination, "It'd be funny if someone like Charlie Kirk got shot on September 10th. LMAO. Another on August 6th teased that September 10th will be a very interesting day, then followed up post-assassination with "I plead the 5th." A TikTok video from the night before showed what appeared to be a transgender person saying that Charlie James Kirk does not know what is coming tomorrow. Minutes after Kirk was pronounced dead, a person posted on X, "We effing did it." Man, at least 3 accounts are linked to transgender users, including this person who predicted something big was going to happen on campus the following day. And this is a person who goes to UVU. Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, was arrested after confessing to his father. He left behind notes and texts vowing to take out Charlie Kirk, with DNA linking him to the murder weapon, a high-powered bolt-action rifle stashed in the woods near the campus. His Discord chats appear to show he had accomplished helping source the gun and talking about engraving trans stuff on the bullets. Wow. The FBI is also investigating Utah-based leftist groups for possible assistance or prior knowledge. One of the transgender organizations reportedly wiped its online presence training with guns clean post-shooting. Oh my gosh. It gets weird out here. The celebrating of what happened is scarier to me than the actual assassination, someone says in the chat. Not only that, but I was having a conversation, it seemed like this morning, wasn't it, Amy? And just talking about how disgusting it is on both sides. I have been out of mainstream media. I haven't been watching mainstream media in I don't know how long. And I mainly use it just to report on what's going on when it comes to hearing interviews from certain people who are involved, like Akash Patel, or some breaking news where they show legal documents. But I've been disgusted by both sides, because on one side, you have one side, and I won't call it the left or the right. We'll just say one side that is celebrating this man being assassinated for speaking on what he believed in. And then you have another side that is taking his death and his assassination and using it to push a political agenda. And it's been so sad and hard to watch from this standpoint, because a lot of people consume that type of content. A lot of people are influenced by that type of content. And I think it's been absolutely disgusting on both sides to hear them talk about, oh, this side, oh, the left this, oh, the right that, oh, is one of their own. No, this is an evil person who took a man's life. And it's really a shame to see. But anyway, I'm not gonna go on about that, because I could be here all day. Let's go ahead and see what CNN has to say, and more detail they have to give about what actually was said in these messages and what the FBI is possibly finding.
An apparent confession. The alleged killer of Charlie Kirk reportedly confessing to the assassination just hours before his arrest. Wow. According to the Washington Post, Tyler Robinson posted an online message at 7:57 p.m. on Thursday, telling friends, quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." Now, that message was posted on Discord, a messaging platform that is popular with video gamers, and it continues. He says, quote, "I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything." Well, 2 hours later, Robinson did surrender to authorities. And the breaking news from the Washington Post comes just hours before the Utah County attorney lays out the charges against Robinson, and just before Robinson makes his first court appearance, which we will all see. The report comes on the heels of a New York Times report with more details about what Robinson was posting to another chat group with about 20 people in it, another group on Discord that happened earlier on Thursday. And it happened actually just after the FBI had released the first grainy images of Robinson, which, you know, when we saw them, I think initial reaction was, look, if you know that guy, you're going to know he's that guy. So an acquaintance of Robinson writes in this group on Discord, according to the New York Times, WYA, which means where you at, along with a skull emoji. Robinson responding within seconds, saying his, quote, doppelganger was trying to get him in trouble.
Dang.
And that was reportedly on Thursday afternoon. He was still on the run. This was 24 hours after he allegedly killed Kirk, so it was about 9 hours before he was apprehended. The message continued, at times making light of Kirk's death. Robinson's reported messages are offering now a crucial glimpse into his mindset before and after the killing and what he was doing when he was on the run, right? He's in these chat groups. So in a moment, I'm going to speak to the Washington Post and New York Times reporters who broke these stories. I want to begin, though, with Danny Freeman. He is out front. He is live in Orem, Utah. And Danny, the first court appearance is hours away. So what are you learning tonight?
Well, listen, Aaron, we have learned so much more about the suspect here, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, but it's really been a slow drip over the course of the past few days since that shooting. True. Well, now Utah officials are promising that tomorrow we're going to be learning a lot more information. A lot more is going to be released to the public, and that's so crucial because so many here in Utah are desperate for more answers.
We'll be here to talk about it, too.
FBI Director Kash Patel revealing DNA evidence now connects 22-year-old Tyler Robinson directly to the crime scene.
I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
But law enforcement officials are still...
Another note about this video here. I saw, and I wish I could find it. I thought I bookmarked it somewhere. I'll find it for you guys in another video. But I saw someone actually show and zoom in on this video here. You can clearly see when Tyler jumps down that there's a gun, or he's holding a gun in this area somewhere on his leg. I don't know if he put it in his pants leg, but yeah, it's
positively processed for the suspect in custody.
But law enforcement officials are still working to understand what may have driven this young man to allegedly open fire on Charlie Kirk.
We are still conducting follow-up interviews and a lot of investigative leads to determine any relationship that may have played into this, whether that be political or personal or any of those.
Investigators are focusing in on a note that Robinson may have written prior to the shooting that the FBI director says has since been destroyed.
We have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it.
Another area of interest and help to authorities so far has been Robinson's roommate.
The roommate was a romantic partner, a male transitioning to female. This partner has been incredibly cooperative, had no idea that this was happening, and is working with investigators right now.
Officials are still investigating whether the roommate relationship may have factored into a potential motive. Robinson lived and grew up here in Southwest Utah in a conservative family, acquaintances told CNN. And according to the governor, Robinson moved very far left in recent years.
These are the facts that are being presented to us. Family discussions, parents, this is what they're saying.
In Robinson's hometown, his community mourned Charlie Kirk while processing that the suspected assassin was a neighbor.
It's really hard. You just can't imagine someone from around here would do something like that.
Sherry Staley Tate's family has been here for 5 generations and told us Robinson went to school with her daughter.
I said,
yeah, it's sad that the whole community is involved and affected by this. Just to think that someone in your own community would be willing to do all of this for someone who was seemingly having a conversation and stating what they believed in. I mean, is anybody safe? Participating in what they believe in, it's hard to see, but interesting topics. We're going to hear more from the FBI in this investigation coming up in the next couple of days. Y'all know we will be here to report on it. Let me know what you think about this in the comment in the chat. Do you think Tyler acted alone, or do you think there were other people involved? I mean, if it turns out to be that way, we might be looking at a federal case. We might be looking at I don't know, would this be a RICO? Hard to tell. Let me know what y'all think. And thank you again. We've got 2,100 of you in the building. 1,500 of you have liked the video. Thank you all for liking the video. Again, I beg for likes. Until we're at 100%, I might not beg for likes. I might not beg for likes at that point, but I probably still will. So thank you to all 1,600 of you that have liked the video. If you could, please like the video. It's free. Many involved, or at least knew beforehand. You think so? I don't know. I saw last night that there are more people involved that are being investigated. Justice for Charlie. It wouldn't surprise me, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. And shout out to Amy for reminding y'all to like the video too. Let me see. I feel like I had another note here before we get into our next topic, because we've got more in this Charlie Kirk situation. And we're going to get into and talk about Candace Owens and her relationship with Charlie Kirk and what she heard and what she knew. It gets kind of wild because we're starting to go down the rabbit hole here. Amy says it was a hit. They are distracting us. Man, I hope that's not the case. I hope not. I mean, either way we look at it, it was a hit, right? Somebody planned this. Somebody didn't shoot him by accident. So somebody planned this. Somebody said, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take him out. And it happened. So it was a hit. It's just who was the one that planned this? Did Tyler do it? Was George involved? Was somebody else on a higher level involved? We're going to get into here in a second. Candace Owens is going to talk about a billionaire hedge fund manager that may have been involved. I mean, who knows? I mean, was it simply because Charlie Kirk was not only involved in politics, but he was standing and close to the president? A lot of people hate the president. I believe he had help. I do not believe that his romantic interest was aware of what was going to happen. Did he even do it? I don't know. Was he the one? Does seem a little odd. A kid like that could make a shot like that. It's not a difficult shot to make. That report released today says Charlie was on a hit list. All right, y'all give me 1 second. Actually, I will be right back. Just give me a second. All right, here we go. We're back. Y'all still with me? We still got 2,000 of y'all up in here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, let me read a couple more comments too. Amy says, I definitely think a lot of people were involved. I saw an interview where Charlie actually said he fears for his life because so many people hate him. We're going to talk about it here in a second. All right, so y'all check this out. Let me make sure we're good. So as we've been covering this entire situation going on with Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, and the actual execution of this assassination, there's been a lot of news that has come out, not only from the FBI, not only from people close to Tyler Robinson, but from people who were close to Charlie Kirk. One of those people being namely Candace Owens. And she had a lot to say when it comes to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We're going to get into it here, hear what Candace has to say and how she might be pointing the finger at someone who was potentially involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. What does this say? Shout out to Colin Rugg over on X, It says, Justin, Candace Owens claims threats were made to Charlie Kirk during an intense intervention with Bill Ackman in the Hamptons weeks ago. Bill Ackman is, as I mentioned before, a billionaire hedge fund manager. He got a lot of money. Okay. Multi-billionaire. We're talking nearly double-digit figure millionaire. All right, billionaire, Owens claims that Kirk was having a change of heart on Israel before his death and says he was contacted by, I'm not saying that, by a certain person who is very high up in the Israel politics. We'll say that. All right. I know that Charlie Kirk was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money, Candace says. Ackman has denied the claims, calling them totally false. Okay, well, calling them totally false, I think, is disingenuous in the first place. We know there was a conversation. We're going to get into why we know that in a second. Let's see what Candace has to say.
In the Hamptons, and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman. Because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on.
That's
and
scary,
Charlie
man.
was surrounded by his friends, his quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. That is what I am told, and I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts.
And at this point, Bill has still not provided receipts. It's just a lot of, well, this is what happened. So we're going to talk about Bill's response here shortly. Stay tuned for that.
This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. Yeah. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel, as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. You know, I got to tell you that. It felt like a threat, like not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money. Maybe would fund it, you know, spend tons of money. And Turning Point, I guess, if it needed to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel.
Yeah, there's some people that you just don't get to decline. When you make it to a certain level, it's like, hey, we see what you're doing. We see the influence you have. We see the money that you have. Here's what we're going to do. This is why one of the reasons I'm like, hey, just let me chill over here.
Or I would describe this as like, re-education camp. We've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. We just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah. We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to Bibi.
Oh, no.
Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened, because our sources and what we have, it's solid. Okay. There were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time.
And in case you didn't know, the Prime Minister of Israel is who she's talking about, inviting Charlie Kirk to Israel.
And they are solid. So I decided another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there. If you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon. I was going to go out to Seth Dillon, and I decided to message him last night about this Hamptons meeting. And Seth Dillon, who is normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes text messages. But my friend was shot in the neck. And I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to the answers that I am demanding. Okay. This is me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweet because, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged.
Not a fan of this, by the way. Not a fan of putting text messages out there. This is low.
To have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. I said, any comment on this one, Seth? He didn't answer last night. This morning I said, need a comment ASAP, please. He didn't answer. Then I followed that up and I said, trying again here, you were present when Ackman lost his mind on Charlie and when Bibi invited him to Israel and Charlie refused. Text messages immediately following this meeting are circulating. I find Ackman's statement as though the meeting was somehow cordial to be incredibly disturbing. Are you at all disturbed by that tweet? Do you feel, as I do, that this tweet significantly betrays the defined purpose and mood of his, and I presume your, final meeting with Charlie Kirk, ? He was unable to speak to me, but he did place some frantic calls to Turning Point USA. Yeah. You see, I went out to Seth, but I also went out to two other people who were at this meeting, and nobody is willing to go on record. They're all messaging each other, trying to figure out a coordinated response to say that, no, this was all quite cordial, but no one wants to go on record and describe it as cordial because they know someone's leaking, because someone's got a guilty conscience about what happened at the Hamptons. So I will again put it out there, Seth, Bill Ackman, and to the other individuals who I have not yet named, but who are going to be named later this week, who were at the Hamptons when Charlie was put under pressure, when Bibi Netanyahu called him and invited him to Israel, again, in a move that when it happened to me, and it wasn't Bibi Netanyahu, felt to me like a laced threat. I am inviting you guys, I will give you my platform, actually, to come clear matters up, and tell us what really happened, because
it won't happen.
I think Charlie was definitely on the brink of changing some of his perspectives. And I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. One of my last conversations with Charlie was me joking with him saying, just make the last step, okay? You are, I said specifically, you're too smart to be a Protestant. Just take the last step, Charlie. He says, ha ha. He was speaking about Mary. And typically when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian. Again, it is
So Candace Owens seemingly saying that there were other parties involved. She's calling them out and say, you guys need to be held accountable. What actually happened in this meeting? Well, what happened in that meeting Charlie Kirk actually somewhat insinuated. He did an interview with Megyn Kelly shortly after this meeting took place. Let's listen to what he has to say. Check this out.
Both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megyn, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, why are you? What am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like, some of the mess, and you saw, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megyn, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megyn. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megyn. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megyn. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's offensive. It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side. And now you have a couple of comments like, well, what about this? Well, has it gone on too long? Like, is it time to wrap it up? And the thing about Epstein is just so bizarre. I don't know who he was an agent for. It might have been Israel or an asset, or it might have been nobody. Yeah. But we're allowed to speculate about that. It's there's some rule you can't.
Charlie was the reason that it's getting all this publicity. There's so many people involved because Charlie was into a lot of stuff that we don't know about. Clearly, he wasn't just an activist. He wasn't I don't know, civil rights leader. He was heavily involved in the political side. How many YouTubers get a call from the Prime Minister of Israel? Y'all can probably type the number in the chat. How many activists get a phone call from the Prime Minister of Israel? There's a lot going on here that we probably don't know. We may never know. And we're going to get into some more information about this situation shortly, because we've just got some new information from the FBI as far as possible leads on why Charlie Kirk could have been a target. We'll check that out here shortly.
Go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation, okay?
That's
and
right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, and they're up against a sea of Islamic totalitarianism, and we should be cheering for them, right? Because they're up against barbarians and monsters, and we want them to win. However, here is Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk combined, probably 30 million social media followers, like pretty, right? And you and I have been holding this down, and you probably get the negative, oh, you're just shilling for Israel, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what's right regardless of the feedback, right? But then all of a sudden, like, I host a person that I moderate the debate of, mind you, right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer, equal time to a pro-Israel advocate, and my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper paranoid, like, we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice. But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do.
Jeez. Oh, y'all heard that last part? He said, let me rewind that again. This is important going forward in this conversation.
We're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice, but it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do.
Without backlash from who? Because again, he's not talking about backlash from the LGBTQ community about his views on same-sex marriage or someone who's transgender, right? He's not talking about backlash for his views on slavery. He's not talking about backlash. He's talking specifically about backlash for his views on Israel. Makes you wonder what was going on behind the scenes. What conversations did he have for him to feel this way and feel this way enough to comment it on this platform? Is Candace right? Is there something there? We're going to get into it in the next segment, in the next video. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. And shout out to y'all. We still got over 2,000 of you in the building. We've got some more information and we've got some breaking news as well. Thank you to Amy and shout out to Amy for putting this together. I want to keep the flow of the show going. So we're actually going to get into the breaking news here shortly, but make sure y'all hang on for this because what we're finding out from the FBI is it's starting to get crazy. And now it's starting to make sense to me the reason this Charlie Kirk assassination is getting so much weight. So we'll get into it here shortly. Shout out to everyone that's in here. Keep this man in jail. Who would do such a thing? Just shocking. Allegedly. All right. We don't know what's going on. And guys, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what's going on. I have an idea. I don't want to say because I don't want to accuse someone of something, but it's not looking great. Don't trust the FBI. It's scripted. Oh man. That is quite the statement. But I agree. I don't really fully trust any government agency to have transparency at all. And so you have to take everything with a grain of salt and do your own research, which is what we're doing here, which is why let's go ahead and get into this next topic because Candace Owens, we thought she was done. Candace Owens is not done talking about Bill Ackman and Charlie Kirk. All right. So let's see what Candace Owens had to say about this meeting that Bill Ackman allegedly had with Charlie Kirk and possibly putting pressure on him to take some money, to say things or to move a certain way. It gets crazy here. All right. What does the person who posted this, shout out to Mel over on X, posted this and said, Bill Ackman just confirmed he hosted his meeting with Charlie on August 4th and 5th. What? Candace Owens claimed that. Here's Charlie talking to Megyn Kelly the very next day on August 6th. Now, how do you think that meeting went down? We're going to get into Bill Ackman's full statement here shortly. But basically, Bill is denying that there was any contention between him and Charlie Kirk. And he doesn't understand why Candace Owens would be saying this. Well, see for yourself.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megyn, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megyn. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megyn. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megyn. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? They go, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
You would think so. But what does Bill have to say in his response? Now, this is a lengthy response from Bill Ackman, but we've got to read it because we've got to hear his side of the story. There's always three sides, right? Their side, the other side, and the truth. So what did Bill have to say in response to this? He said, this afternoon. He's crying. Candace Owens slandered me by accusing me of staging an intervention, with Charlie Kirk, in which threats were made with respect to his supposed evolving stance on Israel at an event I hosted in the Hamptons. Candace also intimated that I blackmailed Charlie Kirk. Oh my. On the show, Candace said that she would be happy for me to dispute this narrative, while it pains me to drive more traffic to her program. Oh, dang. I am responding here to clear my name. It saddens me that we live in a society where social media influencers seek to monetize the tragic death of Charlie Kirk. Okay, well, I'll leave that one alone. For the record, at no time have I ever threatened Charlie Kirk, Turning Point, or anyone associated with him. I have never blackmailed anyone, let alone Charlie Kirk. Do y'all believe that? Okay.
Stop the cap.
I never offered Charlie or Turning Point any money in an attempt to influence Charlie's opinion on anything. In fact, my interactions with Charlie Kirk have been extremely cordial, albeit limited, regretfully so, as I was very impressed by him and his work, and I will sadly never see him again. In an effort to clear the record, I shared the following. I have followed Charlie Kirk on X for some time and greatly admired him. While I didn't agree with Charlie on every issue, I had an enormous respect for his intelligence, vast knowledge about religion, and his willingness to take on all comers in open mic sessions on campus and otherwise. Periodically, I would repost some of his posts and video clips. I connected with Charlie when he DM'd me in late May of this year and expressed interest in meeting me. In light of our respective schedules, we were unable to find a time to meet in person, so we scheduled a Zoom on June 11th. So it seems like they had a short relationship just starting in May. On the Zoom, he explained to me that conservatives, in particular young conservatives, were getting tired of defending Israel, and this was very concerning to him. I asked him how I could learn more, and he suggested that it might be helpful to convene a group of young conservative influencers on a host of topics that could include Israel to get a better sense of how the conservative community was thinking about Israel and other relevant issues of concern to young people. On the Zoom, Charlie also said that his open mic conversations on campus were very effective in addressing issues in the minds of students, but he was only one person with limited bandwidth. He suggested that recruiting a group of junior Charlie Kirks who could host open mic sessions on college campuses, this was next, the movement was starting, would be an effective way to encourage debate on a host of issues and approach he believed to be worthy consideration and better enable students to get to the truth. I expressed interest in learning more, and we thereafter scheduled a series of conference calls and Zooms with Charlie, Turning Point staff, and members of the team in an effort to assemble a diverse group of influencers who we could convene in a day and a half session. And I think we could see Charlie was experimenting with this already by bringing people in. I think he had Vivek Ramaswamy was on tour with him at one point. We saw Myron Gaines. Well, don't quote me on that. I believe Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit also had a time where he was going and working with Charlie Kirk. So you could see that the wheels were turning. Charlie's like, we need to make this bigger. We need to have more people involved, right? And then He goes on to say, I expressed interest in learning more, and we thereafter scheduled a series of conference calls and Zooms with Charlie, Turning Point staff, and members of my team in an effort to assemble a diverse group of influencers who we would convene for a 1.5-day session. In addition to getting a better sense of what and where young conservatives were on various issues, Charlie thought doing so might enable him to identify potential candidates who could launch their own campus tours and carry forth his approach to dialogue. Seems pretty easy to recreate as long as you have the right person. We chose the afternoon of August 4th to the afternoon of August 5th for the convening, and Charlie and members of my team worked to put together an invitation list. I offered to host the sessions in Bridgehampton and cover the cost so that I could attend some of the sessions as I was working from there at the time. Charlie sent out the invitations and about 35 or so influencers accepted. Charlie estimated that influencers who attended collectively had more than 100 million followers. Wow. That's influence, guys. Charlie and Turning Point put together the agenda for the meeting, and the topics were the economic future of America, the cultural landscape of dating and marriage, the convergence of East and West, and the new threats to America. Charlie asked me to moderate the economic future discussion, which I did, and thereafter hosted a Q&A session with the participants. Man, that would have been great to attend that event. The convergence of East and West included a discussion on immigration, the value system, the U.S. approach to foreign policy in Israel. While I had wanted to attend the convergence panel, I had a board meeting that conflicted with this session. All right, Bill, come on, man. We don't care about this. Jeez. So he couldn't go to the meeting. Those that attended that session said that the Israel discussion was similar to other sessions with attendees expressing varying views as well as explaining the views of their followers. Some participants were critical of Israel and U.S. support of Israel, and others were supportive. The sessions were punctuated by meals. I attended one group lunch and a group dinner where I sat with Charlie and others. I found the session I attended interesting, and I really enjoyed meeting the influencers. It gave me considerable perspective on what is on the mind of young Americans on a wide range of issues. At the end of the event, I sat with Charlie and members of my team, and we discussed the event of the convene. We discussed the events of the convening. Charlie believed that he had identified a number of potential Turning Point ambassadors who could launch open mic events on the campus, and that he would follow up with them. We agreed to keep in touch thereafter. We corresponded by text thereafter over the next few weeks on a range of topics that did not include Israel. And the next thing I knew, he was gone. In short, this was not an intervention to blackmail Charlie Kirk into adopting certain views on Israel. It was nothing of the sort. So now hearing what Candace says and what she knew and what apparently she heard from Charlie Kirk, what do you think of what we're hearing from Bill Ackman? Do you guys believe Bill? Do you believe Candace? Do you think it's a mixture of both? Do you think Charlie Kirk felt pressured because of who Bill Ackman was associated with? It could be all of those things. And then, of course, y'all know we got to keep this circus going. Candace Owens had to respond to what Bill said. She said, listen, Bill, let me clarify. Check your ego. I don't need you to make my platform bigger. Don't confuse your mysterious wealth with influence. Oh, man. You were contacted with plenty of time to respond with your receipts and did not. We still didn't see any receipts from Bill. I'm going to keep it real. I know feigning victimhood is kind of an Israeli brand thing, but I was clear that Charlie felt blackmailed by the offer to fund TPUSA, which he refused. No one said Bill Ackman blackmailed Charlie Kirk, tried to resist the urge to rewrite history. And also, we didn't see Bill Ackman denying that part, which is interesting because Candace said you offered him money and Bill Ackman said, No, I didn't offer him money to change his mind, but maybe I offered him a little bit of money. People in attendance criticized it as an intervention. Josh Hammer and Seth Dillon, according to the attendees, were especially disappointed that Charlie expressed his frustration with the Prime Minister of Israel and what would happen if he publicly criticized them. Nothing else in your overly worded response disputes that Charlie was pressed by you and others about his viewpoints on Israel, about Tucker Carlson, or the Prime Minister's phone call. The Prime Minister called him. Try to stay focused and answer the questions. I don't think Bill did. As a follow-up and separate questioning, do you know anything about the alleged $150 million that the Prime Minister offered anti-Tucker Carlson campaign? Oh my. Guys, this is getting deep. This is getting wild. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Is any of this true? Is this all just a way for both of these people to get more views on what they're doing? At this point, it seems like there's a lot of questions unanswered. And Candace Owens really isn't giving us any answers because we haven't seen receipts other than what she was texting with other people. And Bill Ackman is denying. What was going on with Charlie Kirk? Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Shout out to everyone that's in here. Again, we've got 1,500 of y'all still in here. We talking about this craziness. We got another topic we're going to get into because I have some breaking news here, courtesy of our very own awesome, amazing Amy. And I'm going to start with these videos. So y'all give me a second while I put this together, because this is going to be important into what happened or what's going on with the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination, and specifically Tyler Robinson. So let me see if I can get this up here. Got this one. And then we've got a couple videos I want y'all to see. Let me see here. And then we'll get into it. Let's see. Amy says, oh, shout out to Amy. She's for dropping the cake. She says it's almost time for lunch and the banana. You know what time it is. Thank you, Amy, for the super chat. She does it all, man. She breaks news. She brings the cake. She moderates the chat. Amy, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And shout out to Amy for the banana. Happy anniversary. Happy bananiversary. It's not just the anniversary, it's a bananiversary. Amy, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Absolutely amazing. So we're going to get into some of the content that Amy sent over as well. Let me go ahead and cue these up and make sure we're good. Okay, boom. Here we go. I need to change this. I need to change this title too. So y'all give me a second, because this is breaking news and we got to get into what's going on with the FBI. So let's see. We're going to say the FBI reveals that Charlie Kirk was a target. Oh boy. So this is about to get crazy. So we've talked about Tyler Robinson's involvement in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Tyler Robinson's alleged involvement in what happened with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now we're starting to find out more information from the FBI director, Kash Patel, on what possibly could have went on behind the scenes. And then we're going to hear more information from him about what could have happened during the previous administration when it comes to Charlie Kirk himself. Yes. More FBI involvement. So let's see what Kash Patel has to say here. And shout out to Colin Rugg again for posting this over on X. He says, the FBI director, Kash Patel, says a lot more than 20 people on Discord will be under investigation in relation to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And we'll listen to what he says. He quotes it here, but let's just go ahead and get into the content.
Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement, and we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat, and for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done, is serve legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And you're running all of that to ground.
Every single one.
Yeah, fantastic.
Wow. So they're looking into more people. We're going to have more information that's going to be released over the next day or so. Y'all know we will be reporting it here. But we've also got some other news. Check this out. Senator Chuck Grassley just announced that the FBI whistleblower revealed to him an FBI project called Arctic Fox. What? Guys, I love my life. I would never cause harm to myself. I love being here. I love my family. I'm not depressed. I'm not sad. My life is absolutely great. Before we get into this, the FBI project called Arctic Fox that targeted groups like Charlie Kirk's TPUSA. This is a bombshell. He says that they are releasing those documents today. What did Kash Patel have to say?
Gangs like MS-13. Now, well, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics. I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records.
Uh-oh.
At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provided me about Arctic Frost. Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic Frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then Citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic Frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations. Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney General's Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic Frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA.
So, this is not something new. And I've mentioned it before on this channel. A lot of influencers, a lot of people on the internet, once you get to a certain level, these three-letter organizations have a file on you. Let's be real. Guys, we talk a lot about the justice system here. We talk a lot about the things that go on sometimes in the political realm. And there are a lot of y'all in here. Okay. There are 1,700 of you in here. Guaranteed there is a file in the CIA, in the FBI, in the NSA, on the ClassE YouTube channel, on this community, on maybe even on some of the people in the chat. So this is nothing new. What is new and what is interesting is the people who are on this list, especially consider that Charlie Kirk is now no longer with us.
In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, and I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda. My investigative work has also exposed the political way in which Peter Navarro was investigated and prosecuted. When FBI agent Thibault found out that Biden's DOJ would prosecute Navarro, he said, "Wow, great." That's a quote, unquote.
Wow.
Through whistleblowers, I've obtained a audio recording of Special Agent Giagardina and Special Agent Sebastian Gardner's delivery of a subpoena to Navarro. I'm making that audio public today. In a court document filed by the Department of Justice, Navarro's...
Let's keep it going. There's more, guys. Check this out. Amy posted this over on X. If you follow Amy on X, make sure you check this post out. If you don't, the link to Amy's X account is going to be in the description. You can go follow her at IAMYLEIGH over on X. Breaking news. The FBI targeted Charlie Kirk. What? The FBI's partisan witch hunt didn't stop with President Trump. Newly released documents prove they went after one of the most influential conservative leaders of our time, Charlie Kirk, and his organization Turning Point USA. Senator Chuck Grassley just revealed a whistleblower bombshell. A secret FBI operation codenamed Arctic Frost placed 92 Republican groups and individuals under investigative scope. 92, guys. Grassley made it plain. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. This wasn't law enforcement. This wasn't political warfare. Grassley explained. It was a vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and the Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. They wanted to know what they were doing, how they were doing it, where they were doing it. And Charlie Kirk obviously got close to President Trump before, during, and after his run to a second term in office. An entire movement, students, churches, grassroots organizations, everyday conservatives, smeared, spied on, and intimidated because they dared to oppose Biden's agenda. And Grassley, alongside Senator Ron Johnson, is finally pulling back the curtain. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see. I hope a lot of you are interested in seeing what the government can do when various agencies have a political agenda. This is a bombshell, Amy says. They didn't just come for Trump. They came for Charlie. They came for Turning Point USA. They came for 92 voices of the right. This is the raw face of government weaponization. This is proof the deep state isn't some conspiracy theory. It's a real coordinated effort to silence conservatives, or at least be involved or influence what they're doing. The FBI was transformed from a law enforcement agency into a political enforcement arm. And if they can target Trump, Kirk, and 92 conservative groups, they can target anyone. And they have, and they will, and they'll continue to. The only solution is exposure and accountability, not another wrist slap, not another hearing. America must see the truth, and those who abuse their power must pay the price. Because if we don't stop them now, tomorrow won't just be Charlie Kirk on the list. It'll be you. It'll be this shit. That's why we got to chill out. This isn't about politics. This is about having the republic itself. Here's the official release from the U.S. Senate committee. Check this out. Grassley opens up the Senate Judiciary FBI oversight hearing, releases additional records demonstrating political weaponization and misconduct while President Biden was in office. What does he say? I'd like to welcome everyone to the Judiciary Committee's annual FBI oversight hearing. We meet today in the aftermath of the political assassination of Charlie Kirk, a school shooting, and the senseless murder of a Ukrainian refugee. Charlie Kirk was a man of God, faith, family, and country. I pray for his wife, Erica, his children, and his whole family. God bless you, Charlie Kirk. I've asked Director Patel for an update today on this matter. As we proceed with the hearing, Director Patel, I'd like to note you've agreed to one 10-minute round. That's more than your predecessor agreed to. When the Director Ray appeared before the committee, he left early to go on a family vacation. Since your confirmation, you've been acquainted with bureaucracy that must reform and hold accountable. That's no simple task. You've begun the important work of returning the FBI to its law enforcement mission. And Kash Patel even said he's brought in police officers and local law enforcement into the FBI just so they can get a better idea and work better together with local law enforcement. So that's true. According to the FBI, since January 20th of this year, the FBI has been involved in the arrest of more than 23,000 violent criminals. This year, the FBI assisted in the arrest of more than 1,500 child predators and 300 human traffickers. And this year, the FBI helped rescue more than 4,000 children from predators. And we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going down here. All right, here we go. Let's get into this. He says some examples of the groups the FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorneys General Association, and Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and the Republican-linked individuals, were placed under the investigative scope of Arctic Fox. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USC. In other words, Arctic Fox wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. And we went through a lot of this. It was a vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and the Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate. There's a lot more here. My investigative work has also exposed the political way in which Peter Navarro was investigated and prosecuted. The FBI's agent found out that Biden's Department of Justice would prosecute Navarro. He said, wow, great. All right, we got to get, that's too much. It's too much. This is getting wild. You guys can see the full hearing that took place. And I actually think they may still be live now. Go check this out. Let me know what you think. And especially when it comes to what was going on with Charlie Kirk. Is this something? Is this nothing? Or is this just Tyler Robinson allegedly acting on his own? I want to know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Wow. Shout out to the gang in here, man. I appreciate y'all. This has been absolutely amazing. And y'all have been super supportive while we've had this crazy conversation. Thank you again to all 1,600 of you that liked the video so far. Big shout out to Les Cleaver and my awesome, amazing Amy for going the extra mile and dropping the super chats. As y'all know, we don't miss. We're going to be here reporting and showing any updates that are going on with this crazy situation and more, because we've got some more trials coming up. We're going to be covering, especially here in the next few weeks. Also, we've got some updates when it comes to YNW Melly. We're going to hear more from Jeff Lacasse when it comes to this Wendy Adelson trial that may possibly be happening, and so much more. So if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. Also, if you haven't yet, like the video on your way out. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow. As always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon, great rest of your day, and you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace. Shout out to the FBI.